all right, I find the article, and I think that this is the biggest article. You know, everybody knows, say, me and Winnie Mandela a friend, Rasta. Yes. Me write poem about Winnie Mandela, and me hardly write poem about individuals on the certain levels. We sit down and talk to her more than one time. As a matter of fact, the last time I go there, I mean, no see her, them say she dey on the road because, you know, say she's back in the party as a strong member of the party. She have the youth them a rally around her. All right now, we know say the world love, well, not the world, well, the world, especially the white world. The white world, I say it all the while, say to the white world, Nelson Mandela is like Jesus Christ. Yeah, man. Nelson Mandela to the white world is like Jesus Christ. If Nelson Mandela sneeze in a South Africa, the stock market drop. May I tell you, them hold him in high regard because him let off the apartheid regime just like that. All right. This is something where me hear, where everybody know in a South Africa how Winnie Mandela feel. Me sit down with her and me hear how she feel about the whole thing. But this is the first time now, internationally, the world is going to hear when Winnie Mandela think in her mind. This is the first time now she's going publicly outside of South Africa, say what she have in her thoughts. Where even though the ANC are going like, them themselves know what she say, what she in a South Africa think, and what she say in a South Africa. Now this shocked the whole world. Where Winnie Mandela say, this shock them. And the reason why it shocked them is because of how them view Nelson Mandela. All right. The article, which I am going to read from, let us see which paper this article come from. As a matter of fact, Winnie Mandela is not in South Africa at the moment. She's in America, I think, and she was speaking to a journalist here. And this is coming from Johannesburg, March 10th, to the hour. Today, March 10th. I can see, March 10th. Yes, right. So me have it, Chris. It's not old news, it's a real news, I know. Ex-wife, Nelson Mandela let us down. Criticism of 92-year-old anti-apartheid icon draws outrage in South Africa. All right, now. This a woman now appease white people. She has said where she come, where they in her heart, where she feel as a woman where, believe you me, if I'm going to say it non-apologetically, if it wasn't for Winnie Mandela, hardly anyone would have really know Nelson Mandela. Because it's when Nelson Mandela in a prison, Winnie Mandela by herself fight for make the world know say there's a man in a prison who stand up for black people at any cost. No. A British newspaper interview that quotes Nelson Mandela's ex-wife bitterly criticizing the 92-year-old anti-apartheid icon as having let us down prompted outrage Wednesday in South Africa. Winnie Mandela also said she could not forgive Mandela for accepting the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993 alongside F.W. de Klerk, the white president who released him and went on to participate in negotiations that ended apartheid. No. Everybody who is what we call Pan-Africanist, black conscious, or whatever I want to call radical, was really taken aback, really, when Nelson Mandela and de Klerk got the Peace Prize together. No. According to Tuesday's Evening Standard, quote, he agreed to a bad deal for the blacks economically. We're all still on the outside. The economy is very much white. It has a few token blacks, but so many who gave their life in the struggle have died unrewarded. Winnie Mandela is quoted as saying, The Star newspaper in Johannesburg accused Winnie Mandela of unleashing a rant. The governing African National Congress said it would not comment until its leaders could discuss the article with Winnie Mandela, who was traveling abroad Wednesday. No, look here, man. The ANC, no, trust me, believe you me. Me go to South Africa, me go among some of them politicians there, me go amongst Winnie Mandela. Them know say as such I think. Them a try appease foreign press now when them a say them have to go contact her to find out if she really say them thing there. Them know say as such a thing. Mandela, this is Nelson Mandela, is revered by blacks and whites in South Africa. But it's not about criticism, but it's not about criticism, but it's not above criticism. The most common are complaints that he devoted too much time during his 1994-99 presidency to seeking reconciliation with whites and too little to uplifting blacks mired in poverty by apartheid. Yet, Winnie Mandela's comments contrast sharply with those she made only last month at a forum marking the 20th anniversary of his release from prison. She said then that Nelson Mandela was loved and recognized around the world for his fearlessness and that he had emerged from prison still committed to revolution. The contrast prompted the Johannesburg newspaper, The Times, to accuse her of having two faces. Mandela accused Winnie Mandela, his second wife, of infidelity, and the two divorced in 1996, 6 years after he walked free, following 27 years in prison. In recent years, Winnie Mandela has often joined Nelson Mandela and his third wife, former Mozambican First Lady Garcia Machel, at family gatherings. After a series of scandals over violence and fraud, Winnie Mandela also has regained prominence in the ANC, where she is embraced in particular by young members impatient with the slow pace of change since apartheid ended in 1994. After internal party voting, she was high on the ANC's list of candidates in last year's election and sits in parliament. I would have you know that them banned Winnie Mandela from go to Canada. In the interview, Winnie Mandela is quoted as accusing the current ANC leadership of exploiting Mandela's image while sidelining him as a leader and accusing his foundation of using him to raise money. Mandela is largely retired now, with several foundations led by the Nelson Mandela Foundation carrying out his work. In February, Winnie Mandela called the foundations a lasting tribute to his legacy. The Nelson Mandela Foundation did not respond to requests for comment Wednesday. The Standard article also quotes Winnie Mandela as criticizing South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which was an attempt to address the horrors of apartheid without pursuing retribution. In the interview, she called its leader, Nobel Peace Prize laureate Desmond Tutu, a cretin. Tutu, through his office, refused comment. The Evening Standard interview was with Nadira Napal, wife of Nobel laureate V.S. Napal, in the Standard article. Nadira Napal said she and her husband were touring Africa when they met Winnie Mandela in her mansion in Soweto. They were in South Africa last year. All right. That is an article put out today in the newspaper then in Johannesburg. So we want to read the next article because a lot of these things is things that most people who is relating to what is taking place in South Africa will agree with as what you call minority as it sounds. But a lot of people would agree with what she's saying. And guess what? Me agree with her. Going to South Africa as an outsider and seeing South Africa right now. Yeah, you see the token blacks, you see this and that are going there, you know. I mean, you go to the airport, you know, taxi man them, black people, drive their Mercedes Benz and ray. But for the majority of people, it really looks same way like apartheid is in effect. The ANC was trying to contact Winnie Mandela to find out if she really had said Nelson Mandela had let down black people. An official said on Tuesday, quote, she is in the USA now and we are in the process of trying to locate her, said African National Congress spokesman Ishmael Mensi. But look at now, when them a try contact her for, them know say so she think. Them politicians are easy, you know. Them know say so she think, you know. We want to ask her if these comments were made by her, if this is exactly what she said. MNC denied a report that Winnie Mandela would be called to explain herself at the party's National Executive Committee meeting next week. That is not correct. Party keen to verify remarks. That is not correct. What we said is that we would wait for her to verify if these reports are truly attributed to her, said MNC. The struggle stalwart apparently lashed out at her ex-husband in an interview published in the London Evening Standard this week. She said Mandela has become a corporate foundation. No, I wonder if you have followed the politics of South Africa, you know, you will know, say, when she said corporate foundation, it is a corporate foundation. If Mandela sneezed, the stock market crash. Winnie Mandela said, Nelson Mandela has become a corporate foundation who was being wheeled out to collect the money. Winnie Mandela also called Bishop Tutu a Crichton in the interview with Nadira Napal, who visited her with her husband, the writer V.S. Napal in Soweto. Mandela let us down. I could have tell him, you know, so I could have make a money off it because the same thing when me hear she tell the man, you know, the same thing she tell me. And I can tell you even more things when she said too. He agreed to a bad deal for the blacks. Economically, we are still on the outside. The economy is very much white. It has a few token black. But so many who give their life in the struggle have died unrewarded, Winnie Mandela said. She said Mandela had no control over the ANC anymore and was being used by the Nelson Mandela Foundation to raise funds. Look what they make him do, the great Mandela. He has no control or say anymore. They put that huge statue of him right in the middle of the most affluent white area of Johannesburg. Not here, which means she talk about Soweto. Look what they did. He has no control or say anymore. They put the huge statue of him right in the middle of the most affluent white area of Johannesburg. Black people, I want to tell you something. Nelson Mandela statue is also in the most affluent white area in London. Serious thing. The most affluent white area. There's a statue of Nelson Mandela in London. Believe you me, I kid you not, I saw it. Nelson Mandela, all right, we can read up here. So, look what they made him do, the great Mandela. He has no control or say anymore. They put that huge statue of him right in the middle of the most affluent white area of Johannesburg. Not here, where we spilled our blood and where it all started. Mandela is now a corporate foundation. He's wheeled out globally to collect the money and is content doing that. The ANC have effectively sidelined him, but they keep him as a figurehead for the sake of appearance. Winnie Mandela said Mandela was not the only leader who had suffered. This name Mandela is an albatross around the necks of my family. You all must realize that Nelson Mandela was not the only man who suffered. There were many others, hundreds, who languished in prison and died. Do you think the clerk released him for the goodness of his heart? This is the question she asks. Do you think that the clerk released him for the goodness of his heart? Many unsung and unknown heroes of the struggle, and there were others in the leadership too, like poor Steve Biko, who died of the beatings horrible all alone. Mandela did go to prison, and he went in there as a burning young revolutionary. But look what came out. Winnie Mandela also criticized her former husband in the interview for accepting the Nobel Peace Prize with former President F.W. de Klerk. I cannot forgive him for going to receive the Nobel Prize in 1993 with his jailer de Klerk, and they went. Do you think de Klerk released him from the goodness of his heart? He had to. The times dictated it. The world had changed, and our struggle was not a flash in the pan. It was bloody, to say the least, and we had given rivers of blood. I had kept it alive with every means at my disposal. She also lashed out at the Truth and Reconciliation Commission process, criticizing Tutu, its chairman. Look at this Truth and Reconciliation charade. Mandela, should never have agreed to it. What good does the truth do? How does it help anyone to know where and how their loved ones were killed and buried? That Bishop Tutu, who turned it all into a religious circus, came here. He had the cheek to tell me to appear. I told him a few home truths. I told him that he and his other like-minded Crichtons were only sitting here because of our struggle, and me, because of the things I and people like me had done to get freedom. Looking back, she said the movement actions were badly planned. You know, sometimes I think we had not thought it all out. There was no planning from our side. How could we? We were badly educated, and the leadership does not acknowledge that. Maybe we have to go back to the drawing board and see where it all went wrong. That is Winnie Mandela. These are words attributed to Winnie Mandela. Serious words in this time, yeah. When everybody looking upon Nelson Mandela as Jesus, she's now saying, well, them ostracized her from long time, from him in a prison. When them tell her said that she did a deal with her next man, and the NC demand that she divorce for the sake of looks. For the sake of looks, the ANC demand that Mandela divorce his wife because of her infidelity. I mean, I tell you the truth, if it wasn't she, would know nothing about Mandela, Nelson Mandela. When me did just start know about Nelson Mandela, I Winnie Mandela me hear attack, and I said this and I said that about him. And I mean, we know about him from prison days and rare from in a prison, and him never bow to certain things. But can you imagine a man named the Doctor of Death go into a court and acknowledge, say him used to put anthrax and other, he was there by the apartheid regime, the Klerk regime, to create poisons that you can place all in a t-shirt to kill black people. And the man just tell the people them said that him used to do. Yeah, a whole heap of black people me kill, you know. With the anthrax and with all the things that we invent to kill black people. Even certain disease where them create for only attack the genes of black people. This man get up in the Truth and Reconciliation and tell the world, say him do these things. And he's walking the streets now. It's a weird thing. And when I talk about revenge, you know, when I talk about revenge, we talk about justice. Winnie Mandela tell me, say, why she never know, say, at this she did a fight for. All them struggle where she did a go through. She never know, say, it's this kind of South Africa she did a fight for. Now she bust out. She has said loud and clear now. So, me don't know that I got turn out because she's one of the most she is the most popular woman. As a matter of fact, it is said in certain quarters that she could possibly be the next president of South Africa. But guess what? Oh? America, England, Canada, them not gonna allow that. Them not gonna allow that. Because they know, say, if Winnie Mandela become president, man, them need a Jesus, man. Me I tell you, them need a Jesus. We not gonna trouble them. We not change. Only the face they there, but really and truly, white people Black people have political power in South Africa, but the economical power is still maintained by whites. Anywhere in South Africa you go, the youth, them will tell you that. People who is really a look upon the thing, them will tell you that. Black people in South Africa have political power, but really and truly, the economy is still in the hands of Europeans. And that is what Winnie say. Say it never changed economically for black people in South Africa. This is the cutting edge, and I FM, we're there with you. So, we read that article. We know, so you can go Google it, and read for yourself. It's a serious article.